All right, let's go into some shirts. So the first one has my company name on it. Um, Whoopee. This is a one color print. It's done with silicone ink. It's a single print. We're using a 110 mesh. We used a 5590 55 squeegee. Soft squeegees will lay down a lot of ink, and my squeegee was sharp and straight. So not only does it lay down a lot of ink, but it keeps a crisp edge on my print because of that. This was done with a double stroke, but no flash in between. So it was a print and a print. One of the things about working with silicone ink, you really try not to do too much in the way of a print flash print of the same color. Sometimes if you flash too long, you can shrink your performance fabric. So be very careful, even in your flash. The problem with silicone inks is if you don't have a warmed up palette, the flash could take 10 to 12 seconds. I try and get my palette warmed up to about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And at that point, my flash time comes down to 5 seconds, which will probably not shrink my performance fabric. So the longer you have to flash, the more chance you have of losing your accuracy. So in this particular case, we didn't have to do anything in the way of a flash. It was just a double print stroke, and we were finished. There's no blocking agent or anything used on this particular print. This is a two-color print. It's on a polyester fabric, but it's a cotton-like finish, so it's not that smooth finish. It has more of a texture to it. We printed a black first using a 110 mesh, flashed it, and then we came back with the gray and done. Again, the heated palette definitely is part of the whole deal. The gray does not sit on top of the black. It sits in between the black. So you could print this on top of the black as long as your gray is opaque. In this particular case, they just did a dropout where the gray was going to go. And by reducing the flash time and having the palettes heated up, no issues were created. Polyester hoodies, probably not a good idea to flash and to do a print flash print on this. So this was a 110 mesh. It was probably a double stroke and done. If you had to do a print flash print, because it's a hoodie and it's a thick fabric, it's not adhered down to the palette well, and the chances of it moving are pretty substantial. So I would try to avoid that. Simple two-color print. This is on a high-energy performance fabric. We printed the white silicone. Didn't have to do more than a double stroke on it. Flashed it, and then printed plastisol ink as an adhesive for our foil. Ran it through the dryer at a low temperature because we don't need a high temperature, because the plastisol, although it may not be cured, as long as it's dry to the touch, that's all we really need. And we can take care of the rest of it by having our transfer machine take the plastisol up to a finished product. So once it comes out of the dryer, we're going to take it over to the transfer machine. We're going to take some foil, wrinkle it up. I like to use wrinkled foil, and the reason I do, it's really difficult to lay down foil perfectly and not get any pitting or anything of that nature. So by wrinkling the foil, you will get some color coming through it. That's fine. You're making it into that, and you get some great texture. No two shirts will be identical, but they'll all look similar. On the transfer machine, I have it set to 360 degrees, medium-high pressure for 8 seconds. I'm going to hit it with the transfer machine, let it cool down, peel it. Then I'm going to put a Teflon sheet over it and come back and hit it a second time for about a second or two to get the plastisol to grip into the foil really, really well. What that does is it takes a little bit of the shine off of the foil, but it makes it extremely washable. Since silicone, nothing sticks to silicone ink, you don't have to worry about foil sticking to it because foil can't stick to it. Nothing can stick to silicone ink other than other silicone ink. Same exact application. The white was printed with a double stroke, flashed. We then printed adhesive, ran it through the dryer at a low temperature, took it to the transfer machine, wrinkled up the foil, 360 degrees on the transfer machine, medium-high pressure, 8 seconds. Let it cool a bit, peeled it, put it back, put a Teflon sheet over it, gave it another hit to get the foil to set itself into the adhesive, and we're done. This will hold up great in a wash. Both the plastisol and the silicone ink will hold up extremely well. Being on a high-performance fabric, had no issues as far as needing a blocking agent. This is a 3-color print. Now, one of the things that's really important whenever you're doing foil and silicone together is to make sure that the foil does not sit on the silicone or the silicone sit on the foil, or actually the adhesive. If either one happens, then because the two are not compatible, if I printed my adhesive and it sat on top of the silicone and then I foiled it, I would be able to peel some of that foil back where it sits on the silicone. Not what you really want to do. So this particular print was done with a yellow silicone, printed with a double stroke, I believe, flashed it. We then came back and printed black silicone, flashed that, and then we printed our plastisol. The reason we printed the plastisol last, it's a very fast flash, and I do flash after it sometimes so that taking it off the palette, I don't end up smearing anything. Ran it through the dryer at a low temperature, took some foil, wrinkled it up really, really heavily. 360 degrees, medium pressure, 8 seconds, let it cool, peeled the foil, then took some old foil and did it again, exact same thing. This time when it came out, I didn't let it cool much, I just peeled it away. Then I came back a third time and did it again. So this has a magenta foil, it also has a blue foil, and it also has a silver foil. Wherever the foil didn't take because of the peel and because of the wrinkling is where some of the other foils bit into it. The silicone ink, no issue as far as anything sticking to it because it's silicone.